Welcome to Greenshine Farmer's video blog about a family starting a farm and going back to the homestead lifestyle. Episode 7, Final Move. We're going to give you a quick tour of what our house situation looks like, what our farm looks like, and what the barn looks like. So tune in and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since our last video, but hopefully after watching today you'll see why. For the past 7 weeks we've been hard at it trying to get this farm up and running, and I think you'll be impressed with our progress. So today we get to do the long-awaited tour and you'll see where we're at. So the biggest problem with this property when we started out was that it had no running water. No city water, no well, no nothing. So our solution was to get these IBC totes right here. This one holds 330 gallons, this one holds 275. They're connected with just some basic PVC, and then it kind of runs this way, and we connect it to a high pressure pump. From that pump, it goes up, and the lines split, and a water line runs through this hot water heater, which is connected to a 100-pound propane tank. And down here we've also got a spigot that runs to our greenhouse so we can water, and a cold water line. Also built like a little housing to try to keep the pump dry. And then if we continue on this way, I apologize, everything's kind of a mess. We're still trying to put everything together, so there's random stuff here and there. But I'd like to introduce you to our outhouse. Now, we poured some road bond and used pressure treated wood as the base, and then put a nice coat on the outside to help protect the paint. We've got a solid door, and then inside we got this really nice composting toilet that we are super thankful for. And then we've got our toilet paper and our sanitizer and some little lights and whatnot. And it's not 100% done. We still have to put a vent to the outside, which will help all the stuff compost in the bottom. And still need to screen in that top part. But, you know, one thing at a time. So, if we go this way now, we can check out the inside of the house. Okay, so here we are inside. And behind me, we have our coat rack. Kind of hang coats, hats, shirts. We've got a bench, and we've got a little mat for our boots because we get pretty muddy out there. And over this way, I don't know if you remember from the earlier video, but there were a lot of little cracks, you know, kind of all the way around and down in here. We had to cut some wood pieces and kind of fill it all in with spray foam and wood caulk, because we had, I mean, I think when we moved in there would be about 15 wasps. Just they could get in and they couldn't get out, and we didn't want that. So we really had to take a lot of time and try to fill that all in, but it turned out pretty nice. And then over here is kind of my pride and joy. We got our shower area. We've got our cabinets. We've got our outlets, which power, you know, the hot water heater and all of that stuff. And because we're really going off of 4 outlets from the power pole right there, so we had to kind of get creative, run some extension cords under the house. But right here we've got our shower, and I mean, this thing, perfect pressure, as much hot water as you could possibly want. I mean, it's honestly, if you've ever gone a month and a half without a shower, you would know how much we appreciate this thing right now. We did, however, have to modify it slightly. I mean, this is a $160 shower. It comes in a box that's like this big, and they want you to drill the shower head in here, which I don't know, it's great if you're like 5'5", but anybody else, it's just not going to work. So I kind of had to extend it, and we just, you know, kind of rigged it to the ceiling, but it works, you know, perfectly fine. And like I said, we got a drain pipe that runs under the house, and we'll do a whole video on the plumbing situation at a later date and go into a little more detail. But you know, we've got some more storage behind here, and we're gonna also put a curtain, I think, right here to kind of block off, you know, so the pipes just aren't as exposed. But yeah, now we are in the bedroom, and This is where Odin likes to jump on the bed. And we got these trippy tapestries to kind of, you know, look at while we fall asleep. And let's see, over here we've got our dresser, you know, all of our socks and clothes and stuff. We got Rio's bed, his food dishes down that way. And then over here we got Odin's room. So over here we got all of Odin's clothes, and we have his books. We try to read them before he goes to sleep. A nice little light with all of his diapers, and this changing table. He likes to grab stuff while, you know, we change him. And we've got a kind of a closet that we made with just, you know, basic, you know, whatnot, wood, I guess, that we pretty much found in the barn. But it does the job. It's sturdy. We've got storage totes for the clothes and stuff that we don't wear, suitcases and whatnot. You grabbing your feet, bud? We also took some shrink wrap material and sealed off, because there was a door here if you remember, so we kind of framed it out and angle cuts and everything, and then put some shrink wrap material to kind of keep the outside elements outside. And then over here we got Odin's crib, which he has gotten much better at sleeping in. He was sleeping with us for a while, and we kind of had to nip that in the butt, and it was difficult, but he's getting better at it, so he's getting used to this thing. And he's got his tapestries, of course. And then, like I said, Rio's got his bed. And then, let's go check out the other room. So here we are in the second room. And over here we've kind of just got this CF, also known as the crafts area. Basically all the stuff I brought back from California. We got our water cooler, which the neighbors have a spring next door with really great water, and they let us fill up our 5-gallon water jugs. We have this really nice leather love seat, which is incredibly comfortable, and also we are very, very grateful for. And then we've got Odin's Playland, which has got this ABC mat. It's pretty cool. It's fenced in so he can't escape, and it has all his toys and another tapestry. Again, with this door, we had to, you know, put the shrink wrap and frame it out, you know, to kind of keep the outside elements outside. And we got screens on these windows so we can leave them open and get a nice cross breeze. And this guy's pretty close to walking. I mean, he's, I guess this is what they call cruising, but he's actually taken a few steps by himself, and he's getting pretty good at it. So he's not even, he'll be 8 months in a few days, and he's already getting pretty close to walking and kicking soccer balls. So, let's go and show you. This is the office over here. There's not much to see. Again, everything's kind of all over the place. We're still trying to get things organized and unpacked. Our computer, and then we have satellite internet, which was really great because we didn't know if we were going to get anything out here. But we got satellite internet. It's fairly priced, and the connection is pretty awesome. We can watch Netflix and do email and upload YouTube videos, so it works for us. And then, I just kind of got my tools all kind of, scattered around. Like, we're still doing a lot of little chores around the house. Eventually those will probably go to the barn. But then we got our plates, glasses, teas, cooking pans. I found this stove on Craigslist. It was like 95 bucks. It's propane. It's pretty much brand new, and the thing is just, solid. We hook it up again to a 100-pound propane tank outside. These counters were here, but we had to put in the sink, and we repainted it, and we kind of put these little clip things so they would stay shut. But yeah, it works for us, and we've got all of our, whatchamacallit, food, paper towels, spices and whatnot. We've got a double fridge setup going here. Refreshments. And then down here is just kind of everything else. I don't know if the light went out on this thing, but it's still cranked, so, whatever. And then kind of over here, you know, table, and then we have sort of like just a little area to stretch out after a long day, or in the morning before a long day. And we've kind of got our library over here, which is organized, you know, philosophy, nonfiction, fiction, and so on. And then we've got a nice reading chair. So yeah, I mean that's the gist of the inside here. Like I said, we're still trying to get everything put together, but you know, it's coming along. So here we are outside under this wonderful umbrella. We've got our chairs, and our deck is kind of more clear than it was. You know, we still got a bunch of boards because we're still, you know, working on stuff. We've got our freezer down here. We keep our ice packs and a bunch of meat. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of it. So we'll take you a tour of the garden and you guys can see what we got planted. Alright, so here we are outside. We've got our fruit trees, and then these raised beds here were originally asparagus, and we got maybe one or two real skinny strands and just decided these things are probably exhausted. So we're going to replant these with 3 different types of squash. We're also going to till up a little patch and put in some corn. And maybe a few other things, but over here, this is really our main pride and joy. This first row, and you gotta forgive us because you know, it is a little weedy right now. The hard thing about this is, you know, we're trying to put in infrastructure, we're trying to fix up the cabin, we're trying to get stuff in the ground, we're starting to, you know, trying to make sales contacts. So it's just a lot to manage at once. And one thing that's kind of got neglected is weeding, especially with all these rain. The weeds have really kind of taken off, but the crops are actually looking pretty good. I mean, our red cabbage here is just crushing it. I mean, doing absolutely awesome. We've got some cauliflower, some chard, some broccoli, and these guys are really loving what we put in the soil. So I think right now we have probably about 12 or 13 rows planted out. These are all 30-inch wide beds by 100 feet. So we've got, this is kind of just a random row of carrots and beets. We've got spinach, red Russian kale, arugula, beans, 2 different types of lettuce, some mustard greens, mizuna, ruby streaks, and then we've got about 6 more beds that I just seeded a couple days ago, so they're not quite up. But, you know, I think we got stuff in the ground a little later than we would have liked. But we really had to get that house up and running and just have a nice, you know, livable space first. So after this, we can let's go check out the greenhouse. Oh yeah, we also got this rabbit fence because even though I haven't seen too many, I'm sure they're around, and it's better, you know, safe than sorry. Plus, it keeps Rio kind of on the outside because he was, you know, sometimes running through the gardens, and we can't have that. So we put probably about, I don't know, 600 feet of rabbit fence around this whole thing. And we're in the process of putting up a deer fence, which is going to go around the perimeter of the property. The important thing about when putting in a rabbit fence is that you either till up or dig, because you actually want to bury the bottom here at least, you know, 3 to 6 inches, because rabbits are really good at burrowing. So to keep them out, that's what we've done. We've also got this plot over here, which has just kind of been sitting. I've got it tarped. The tarps have kind of gotten ripped. We've had some rough, you know, windy and rainy weather. So the plan for this is still kind of up in the air. We were thinking about doing a buckwheat pea cover crop, but we might actually, since we're running out of bed space here, we might actually have to start getting this ready for production. So we'll see what we do with that, but I mean, if we really have all this cranking, we'll have quite a bit of produce.